My name is Ilan Asbel. I am one of the founders and currently CEO of Autochartist.com. I welcome you to today's webinar. Today's webinar is just an overview of the Autochartist platform. We're not going to be going into any specifics about trading techniques around Autochartist. I'm just going to try to give you the very, very basic overview of the platform and what it can do. I know that all of you are coming in from all over the world today. Some of you in the west coast of the US, east coast of the US, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, all the way through to Asia Pacific, Japan, Australia. So I know some of you it's very early in the morning. For the rest of you, it's really, really late at night. So I normally try and keep these presentations down to about 30 minutes, plus leave another 15 minutes for Q&A at the end. Because it's an overview presentation, we might go a little bit longer because the Autochartist platform is quite extensive, and we'll see if we can fit everything in. So let's kick off. So now, many of you have different reasons for joining this webinar. Because it's an overview webinar, I'm suspecting that that many of you have not used the Autochartist platform before, just want to know what it's about. And before we even get going, I want to tell you what Autochartist is not. Autochartist is not a signal service. If you're looking for a quicker, easy buck in the financial markets, well, you're dreaming. Autochartist is not your answer, nor is anything else that's available in the market. That's not your answer either. No such thing exists. So, first things first, get your expectations right when you're going into the Forex market. Expect to make a return which is better than your risk-free return. It's going to take you a lot of time and effort to learn. Whatever tools and techniques you develop for yourself, you might trade with Autochartist, you might trade with Autochartist and other tools, you might trade with completely other tools. I think Autochartist is not for you. Whatever it is, there's no quick fix in this market. So, I just want to lay it out there. I will sometimes allude to the way I trade using Autochartist. That is my primary tool that I use to trade, and I will allude to some of the techniques that I use personally. Those are not necessarily techniques that are promoted by the company. It's just my personal experience. I have been trading for quite a few years. I make a pretty good return. I'm certainly no amateur at trading, and I'm certainly no professional. But I make a pretty good return, which is better than what most people can say. Certainly in the FX market. So with that being said, let's get going. So Autochartist, from really broadly speaking, is a way of identifying opportunities in the market, and it identifies those opportunities based on the recognition of some support and resistance levels in the market. Now, support and resistance levels really are not based on mathematical equations. Some of you may have used things like moving averages or RSIs or Bollinger Bands on your charts. And those type of indicators, those technical analysis indicators, are really based around equations, right? Arithmetic equations on the price data. Autochartist is different. It identifies support and resistance levels. Now, support and resistance levels are really visual levels of what are normally regarded as psychological levels in the market, important psychological levels. I've picked out this example here on US dollar, Japanese yen, 15 minutes data, where it's quite clear to see certain psychological levels that the market has actually reached. So you can see that at some point at about 102.45, the market thought that US dollar, Japanese yen was too expensive. And then back down at 102.29, the market thought that it's cheap, and then back at 102.45, again it was too expensive, and then back down at 102.34, the price is too cheap. And so what you find in a lot of financial instruments, not only FX and stocks and futures and all kinds of financial instruments, I'm not sure what you all trade, but you find this consistent movement between these what we call overbought and oversold levels, right? And so what Autochartist tries to do is tries to identify these types of levels for you, and it identifies them in many different ways. For example, the example we have in front of us right now is what we call an emerging or approaching pattern, right? That means that the price is still trading. When it was identified, the price was still trading between the support and resistance levels. Support is the blue line, resistance is the green line. Now you can quite clearly see that the price has not broken through support resistance, and really Autochartist is telling you that US dollar, Japanese yen is trading within this comfortable range. Autochartist also identifies different types of support or resistance levels. For example, here is an example of the New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc, 60-minute data, right? And you can see that the price has gone between support and resistance, right? It's bounced up and down, and then it has broken through a support level, right? Now, you can see this on Autochartist because the ones that have broken through are actually colored in red or green. The ones that are still trading within the range are actually with gray arrows, right? So now Autochartist has identified that New Zealand dollar against the Swiss franc on 60-minute data interval has broken through a support level and has a potential move down to 0.7552. Okay, so you know, if you're a trend trader, this is an interesting opportunity for you, because a breakout through a support level or a breakout through a resistance level means that there's potentially a big move that's about to follow. Now, I look at this example over here. Let me zoom into this example actually by clicking on the chart. And I can see very clearly that yeah, there were some noisy candles, you know, with a lot of lows, you know, very noisy low candles. But you can see very clearly that there's a very distinct support level at about 0.7578. And Autochartist has done a pretty good job of identifying that. And now the price has broken through. Now, if you look carefully at the graph that I just opened up for you, you can see there's another little transparent candle at the very, very end of that. That little transparent candle is just Autochartist's way of telling you what has happened to this price graph subsequent to the breakout. So this breakout actually was identified about an hour ago, and then there was even a confirmation move lower to confirm that move as a breakout. And that's that little transparent candle at the bottom, right? So this little transparent candle is what we call an age of one, right? So this opportunity is one candle old. Now, so now what Autochartist will do is actually update the age of the opportunities on the right-hand side. So you can actually quite clearly see which opportunities are older and which opportunities are newer. The newest opportunities are always at the top of the Autochartist list of opportunities, and the oldest opportunities are the ones at the very, very bottom. Let's look at one of those older ones. This is an opportunity that we identified on GBP USD. Oops, why did it bounce around there? Oh, it disappeared. So let's do another one. This is an opportunity that was identified by Autochartist GBP JPY 10 candles ago, 15-minute candles ago, right? So just over an hour and a half ago. And there was a breakout, a slight move in the direction, but then the Autochartist called it wrong, and the price has now moved up in the other direction. Okay, so yes, sometimes we make good calls and sometimes we make bad calls. In the FX market itself, Autochartist hits its forecast levels around 70% of the time, and I'll go into some of the statistics in just a moment. So this happened to be, you know, a bad trade that Autochartist had made for us, right? Bad prediction. Okay, let's go back to the top. Now, you'll see on the left-hand side, when Autochartist identifies a new opportunity, it actually puts a little orange exclamation mark on the left-hand side of the latest opportunities that have just been identified. So you can see here, what if you've got Autochartist, running all the time in one of your screens, you'll actually get the latest opportunities giving you an alert, a sound alert, as well as a little orange icon telling you that these are the latest opportunities. Okay. Now, this is an opportunity on Australian dollar, Hong Kong dollar, a 60-minute graph, and this is a new opportunity that all the charts have just identified. Now, I'm not going to go into all the filters and everything. You may have noticed that I have unclicked Fibonacci patterns. I don't know much about Fibonacci patterns, and I don't trade them. This is why I switched them off in my Autochartist. But if you are a person that trades Fibonacci patterns, you can simply click them in, and you'll actually get all the Fibonacci patterns that Autochartist has identified. This is, for example, a 3-drive pattern that Autochartist has identified, or a Gartley pattern that Autochartist has identified. So we identify a lot of different types of Fibonacci patterns as well. I personally don't trade them, and so I don't delude myself, and I just, I switch them off in my Autochartist. But again, that's up to your trading style. What I can do is I can also hide those results to give us a bigger, a longer list of opportunities. Now, I think in the next webinar, what we'll do is we'll actually discuss some trading techniques around trading support and resistance. But for now, I'm just giving you an overview, so I'll just skip, along to some of the performance statistics. So Autochartist also provides performance statistics, and these performance statistics are not, they do not tell you how much money you would make using Autochartist. Okay, Autochartist is a research tool, and we identify support and resistance levels. That is what we do, right? We're not a signal service. Okay. But the performance statistics are a measure of how often we've hit our forecast region, right? So when we provide a forecast, Autochartist, we obviously keep a track of the last 6 months of the forecast that we've made, and we tell you how well or how badly we've done. Now, if we're looking at the FX market, all right, let me maximize. I have a lot of users trying to ask me to maximize my screen, although what I think it's going to be small. What I'll do instead of maximizing, I'll actually zoom in a little bit. I think that might actually be more useful. Hope that makes things a little bit bigger. So I'm actually going to go into some of the statistics around chart patterns in the FX market. Okay. Now, over the last 6 months, Autochartist has identified around 18,000 patterns, of which 12,000 hit their forecast region, which is only about a 66% hit rate. But the reason why the 66% hit rate is in small font is because, in my opinion, it's not important. What is important is to find out what's currently actually working in the market. So, for example, over the last 6 months, pennant has not been working at all. Okay? Head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders has been working very well. Similarly, falling wedges have not been working, but double tops have been working very well. Double bottoms have been working very well. Okay? And now, when you actually, get to know the Autochartist platform a bit better, you'll actually start to getting to know these patterns visually, all right, and start understanding which ones are performing well, which ones are performing badly, and adjusting your trading according to that. We also provide complete transparency with regards to which instruments we've done well or badly on, right, over the last 6 months. So, for example, we've done pretty well on USD Canadian dollar on chart patterns, or Euro SEK, or Euro Australian dollar. Now, some of them are, interesting, they haven't quite reached 70%, but for example, Australian dollar, Hong Kong dollar has been 69% correct, right? GBP, JPY, 68% correct. So we've done pretty well on certain instruments. They haven't quite hit 70%, which makes us make them green, but they're still pretty good. And on these stats pages, we give you a complete rundown of when we do well and when we do badly. Now, one of the very important things that you've got to realize about the technique that Autochartist uses, which is support and resistance levels, is that that technique in trading is highly dependent on liquidity and volatility in the market. Okay. Now, if you notice, specifically for chart patterns, we do really, really well during certain times of day. Now, for example, my time is set to GMT -4, and we do really well at GMT -4. You can see the stats are very high. So that is during kind of the, I'm guessing the London session, right? During the European session, we do really, really well in terms of our performance. During the US session, you know, we don't do as well. Now, one can ask, why is that? Well, because many people think that the US is the center of the world's economy and of trading. That is true other than for Forex. Okay, so in the Forex market, London is actually the global center for Forex trade, right? So what you find is that a lot of trade, a lot of liquidity and volatility happening during the London session, and that's really how patterns form. That's how support and resistance and overbought and oversold levels actually form. They form with market psychology, and market psychology only plays out when you have a lot of people trading, right? That's how, you know, mass psychology happens, right? It doesn't happen with 1 or 2 people trading. It happens with hundreds of thousands of people trading. So we do quite well during the London session. We can also look at, for example, some of the performance around our key levels product. Key levels are horizontal support and resistance levels. Now, these stats are look really good. In fact, what you'll find is we have much better performance on our key levels product than we do on our chart patterns product. Now, the way to see key levels products in Autochartist is under the trading opportunity section. You can just open up your filters and just untick chart patterns and just leave the key levels product, and then you can see all the key levels that are available on the trading opportunities on Autochartist right now based on key levels. This is an example. This is a few candles old. So we identified this 2 candles ago. All right. This is an opportunity on Euro, Australian dollar, 60-minute data, right? Which means that it was identified about 2 hours ago. We identified it and we provided a projection to 147.48. And yes, in the last 2 hours, the price has definitely gone moving in that direction. What do you do now? It's moved, right? Have you lost the opportunity? Maybe yes, maybe no. I like to do fun things. I'm a bit more advanced in my trading, so I like to do strange types of trades. For example, I will wait for the price to break out up to 147.57 and take a long position, or I wait for the price to move down to bounce off this resistance level down to 147.37 and take a short position, right? So it really all depends on your style of trading and how you want to trade these support and resistance levels. And I think that's a more advanced topic that you can cover in the next presentation. Now, what Autochartist also does is also provides you some idea of, you know, where to actually set your stop losses and take profits. But before I click on the volatility analysis button, which is gray and bolded, which I think you all need to press, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just run over to our favorite section, which is the left-hand side tab. If you're lazy like me, and you don't want to look through every trading opportunity and combine it with the performance statistics, which is what I showed you just now, you can simply go into the Our Favorite section. What the Our Favorite section does is it takes the trading opportunities, merges them together with the performance statistics, and provides you the ability to set a minimum performance level. And those are the opportunities that it will show you on your screen right now. Okay? So now there's some good examples and some bad examples. Let's look at some bad examples, right? So Euro NZD. This was identified a few hours ago, quite a few hours ago. Euro NZD 60-minute patterns. It was identified quite a few hours ago. We called it down with a 72% probability, but the price had gone up, right? Right. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. You've got to keep that in mind, right? So yet there's great opportunities, all right? Now, this is opportunity that we identified 2 hours ago. And yes, it went straight through the target region all the way down to the bottom. Now, the opportunities in our favorites is based on past performance, okay? So if we filter it, let's say, to 70%, we get all the opportunities which in the past have performed 70% or greater probability of hitting their target level based on the pattern, the time of day, and the instrument on which it was identified. Okay, so if you're lazy like me, this is the section you look at. All right. Now, what you'll find is that you get very few opportunities at 70%, more at 65%, and obviously the lower you set your probabilities, the more opportunities you have. For example, 65% probability or higher, there's a lot of opportunities on the U.S. equities market, right? If that's what you're trading, U.S. equities, then there's a lot of opportunities, 17 opportunities for you on the U.S. equities market. Now, that's a lot less than looking at 3,000 or 4,000 shares, right? So this is really the power of Autochartist. The power is in the fact that it narrows down your search range in terms of where you should be looking for opportunities. Right? And the way, again, this is my style of trading. I don't go out looking for opportunities. I wait for the opportunities to come to me. There are days when I don't place a trade, and that is what it is. That's the truth. So if I look at, for example, the Forex opportunities right now available to me on the market right now, I look at these and I decide for myself which of these opportunities look good to me, okay? And then I make a decision. If none of them look good to me, I simply don't trade, and that's the bottom line, right? So I don't, it's my money. I'm in here to win. I'm not in here to gamble. Maybe some of you are in here to gamble. But I like to, I'm a numbers guy. I like to skew the numbers in my, favor, and that's the way I trade. Now, the first, obviously, most common question that people ask us at Autochartist is, what to trade and in which direction, right? And I think I've kind of covered that in the last 20 minutes and how Autochartist can help you with that. The second most common question that we get asked at Autochartist is, where should I set my stop loss and take profit? Okay, now this is very, very important question, very important question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you, we'll go back into the trading opportunity section. I'm going to bring up some of the results that we're getting. Okay, so let's look at some of the latest results that we're getting here. I'm just going to switch this off, excuse me while I... Okay, here we go. Here's an opportunity, USD JPY, 15-minute candles, ascending triangle, right? Autochartist, you have to be a rocket scientist to understand what Autochartist is trying to tell you. It thinks it's going to 102.54. Now, let's see where we should be setting our stop losses and take profits. Now, what you want to do is you want to click on Volatility Analysis button here. And this will bring up the volatility for US dollar Japanese yen at 2:15. I've got my Autochartist set to London time. Before I look at the price range forecast section, I'm going to quickly switch over to the movement per hour section, and I'll explain to you in a moment why. This screen is, for me, probably one of the most important pieces of information that Autochartist can give you, and it's really overlooked by many traders, especially novice traders. What this tells you, let me explain to you what the screen tells you first before I explain how to use it. The bottom axis is the hour of the day, right? So there are 24 points on this chart from 0 to 23, right, for every hour of the day. The y-axis is how many, the size of the movement for that hour. So every one of these green graphs here shows you the approximate movement, expected movement over the last 6 months of US dollar Japanese yen. It's clear to see that during 12 o'clock London time, Autochartist, I mean not Autochartist, US dollar Japanese yen moves a lot, right? So London time 12, 1 and 2, there's the biggest movements for US dollar Japanese yen. For the rest of the time, the movement is quite low. All right, now think about this from a trading perspective. Ask yourself the question, if I'm trading 12 o'clock London time, am I going to set the same stop losses and take profit as if I was trading 5 a.m. London time? The answer is no, of course not, right? Because if you set, let's say, a 12 pip stop loss if you take a 12 pip stop loss, which would be appropriate for 5 a.m. London time, and you set that for at 12 p.m. London time, man, you can get knocked out of your USD JPY position in a matter of minutes or possibly even seconds because the volatility is so high. And this is actually something I see a lot of amateur traders doing all the time. They're opening positions and literally contriving, coming up with some strange stop losses and take profits. They decide, you know what, I'm going to set a 50 pip stop loss or a 50 pip take profit or a 10 pip stop loss or take profits. Where do they come up with that? It completely doesn't make sense. That might make sense for one time of day, but not for another time of day. All right? Now let me quickly switch back to range forecast for US dollar Japanese yen. We call this the trumpet because it looks like a trumpet shape. Now what this tells you is specifically on a Tuesday at 2:15 London time, what is the expected price range movement? So right now, if we had to place a trade in US dollar Japanese yen, where would we set our stop loss or take profits? If you are planning on holding your trade for an hour or less, you should set it between 102.34 and 102.60. If you are willing to hold your position for over 24 hours, then you can place it at 102.02 to 102.93, right? So your range is much bigger depending on how long you want to hold your position for. And this we obviously get into more advanced topics like how much money you're placing on a trade. But if you're placing a really, really short-term trade, then you don't want to hold your position for that long, right? So if we're looking at this opportunity here, which is opportunity based on 15-minute candles, we think it's going to go up to 102.54. That's what Autochartist thinks anyway. Let's have a look at our volatility analysis. 102.54. Man, Autochartist thinks it's going to get there within the next 15 minutes to 30 minutes. This is a really, really short-term opportunity, right? And you have to decide for yourself whether this is an opportunity that's really for you or not. Okay, you might say, you know what, this is too short term. I'm not willing to place this kind of trade. We could maybe you want to wait for a longer term opportunity. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to show you this little tab over here, which is really an extension of what I've been talking about. This is called the volatility analysis section. Now, this is a very cool section because it actually gives you all the instruments that you want for their volatility. So by default, it comes up with the volatility of Euro USD. But here, for example, is the volatility for AUD CAD. And you can see how AUD CAD trades for every hour of the day, right? Let's of course look at Euro USD again, and you can see, as expected, Euro USD trades mostly during the London time, but exceptionally a high volatility when the US opens. So if you're a person that playing trends and doesn't want to get knocked out of the market, it's probably a good idea that you want to stay out of the market during you know, the first hour of the day when the US opens, which is 12 o'clock London. You probably want to stay out of that market, right? Close your position, reopen it again later. Because, boy, you are going to get knocked out. If you set your stops and your profits too close together, you will get knocked out of the market very quickly. All right. So, again, you've got to choose appropriate stop loss and take profits. This is probably the number one mistake that traders make. They go into the market, they think they have a great entry, and you've probably experienced this, right? Have you ever heard traders saying, hey, I placed a position, I got stopped out, and then the damn thing turned around and went in my direction that I had initially predicted? I hear that so often. And you know what? If you're setting the wrong stop loss and take, if you're setting the wrong stop loss, you deserve it, you know, for that to happen to you. You can't just choose stop losses arbitrarily. Choose them according to the market volatility and market conditions. Okay. Now, Yvette's probably going to be jumping up and down because I've already, it's already 9:30. I've gone for 30 minutes. Let me quickly show you just one or two brief things, and then I'll go into Q&A because I just see a lot of questions coming up, and I know Yvette is dying to ask me a few of the questions. So let me quickly go into just one or two more sections of Autochartist because this is an overview of the platform. So there's a very funky little section here called messaging and alerts, and which we're expanding all the time. The messaging and alerts basically allows you to get a summary of some different analysis in your inbox. Right now, there's two types of analysis that we can send in your inbox. One is what we call the daily market snapshot, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you subscribe to that, you will get something that looks like this in your inbox. It's analysis with longer term forecasts, right? So we provide you, let's say this is a forecast on US dollar, Japanese yen for the next 3 days. We think it's going long up to 102, 102.80, right? Also, now you can subscribe to this in your inbox. Before the start of Tokyo, the start of London, or before the start of the US session, and in your language of choice. Okay? If you select multiple of these, you'll get multiple reports in your inbox. We will never spam you. At the bottom of the email, if you don't like the stuff, at the bottom of the email there's an unsubscribe link. You click on that link and you won't get an email again. Your market report subscription will be disabled. You don't have to come back into the platform to resubscribe yourself. So go into the platform, subscribe yourself to an email, and see what happens. And you can subscribe yourself to an email on Forex. You can see I'm subscribed to Forex in English for the European session. You can subscribe yourself to London, all kinds of different New York Stock Exchange, DAX, futures, a whole bunch of different reports. And you can also, if you choose to, get your report in PDF form. I don't like mine in PDF form. I like mine in text form so that I can copy and paste levels. Another thing you can subscribe to, our analyst research. Our analyst research is on a daily basis as well as an intraday basis. Our analysts actually pick up some opportunities based on Autochartist and actually do human analysis on it, right? And actually provide research around it. Now, again, there's an unsubscribe link. If you want, you can subscribe to it, put your email address in, click save, and you can see I actually subscribe to this. And I want to tell you why I subscribe to this. I'm going to send you all a message. How do I show my chat window here? Chat window. I'm going to send you all the message. I'm going to send you all the link. And if you watch this email, if you watch that video, I think it's a minute video, a minute and a half video. Watch that video, and then you will know why I subscribe to our analyst research. I'm not going to say any more. Watch the video. It's very quick and easy to watch. You just click on the link on YouTube, and then you'll know why I subscribe to this to our research reports. These research reports are also available in our trading community section. Here it is, intraday analysis. The same research exists over here with a whole bunch of introductory videos that go into each of our products and platforms. You can watch those videos there. I'm guessing between 4 and 6 minutes each, talking quite in depth about each of the products that we offer at Autochartist. And I think I've spoken enough. I think I've given you an overview. Let's go with a few Q&As.
Thanks, Ilan. Yeah, that was great. Thanks very much. I did, while you were busy, mark some of the questions. I flagged them. If you just want to open the questions box, you'll see. It's basically the same questions about why we can see some tabs on our platform and why we can't. And then some more technical.
So every broker, so Yvette, you'll have to read out to me. I'm just trying to concentrate on the platform, so you'll have to read them out. So let me answer that question. Why can you see some of the tabs and you can't see other tabs? Autochartist is available through our broker partners, and each of our broker partners selects which sections of Autochartist to show the users and which sections not to show the users. Depending on the broker that you get Autochartist through, they'll have a different selection or a different combination of sections at the top of the screen. Pretty much all of them have got trading opportunities, volatility analysis, and performance statistics. A few more have got messaging and alert and trading community, and then only a few of them have got our favorites. And very few have got event impact analysis, which I haven't gone into today. But if your broker doesn't have certain sections, please drop us an email or ask your broker, your representative at your broker, to enable that section for you. But it's just, the answer is very simple. It's basically different brokers have different sections enabled or disabled.
Dylan, okay, next question is from Wutaya. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can. Yeah,
okay, great. They want to know, all of Autochartist forecast, is it generated by a computer or approved by an expert? And this is the forecast area.
Right. Okay, so there's a simple answer and a complex answer. The simple answer is everything is generated by computer. We have no people verifying the information that we produce. This is one of the reasons why we can monitor around 15,000 global instruments around the world every 15 minutes, right? An analyst can do at most kind of 50 charts a day. We do 15,000 every 15 minutes. So it is all driven by computers. However, the computers don't just come up with a number, a random number. The way in which we do our forecast is based in technical analysis, right? So for example, this example we're seeing on our screen right now, technical analysis says, how do we produce a forecast? We produce a forecast by mapping the size of the initial trend onto the breakout, which is what we've done. We've mapped the height of the initial trend onto the breakout, okay? And that's how we provide our forecast. We do one or two small things. For example, we scale it by the quality. But essentially, although it's computer generated, right, the results are computer generated, the methodology is very much grounded in literature of technical analysis and chart patterns. I hope I've answered that question.
Okay, and then a next question we've got is, please explain what Autochartist. Please explain what Autochartist means by the terms quality, initial trend, volume, uniformity, clarity, etc.
Ah, cool. Great question. It's a bit of an advanced topic, but I will quickly visually show you what I mean by that. If you click on a new search or edit one of the existing searches, I'll just edit my currency search here, and click on advanced search and scroll down to the very bottom, you will actually see what I mean by that. Now I'm going to zoom into my screen a little bit more. So you can actually see what I mean by that. So for example, minimum clarity. You can see over here this visual representation of a pattern that is not clear, right? That means there's a lot of noise between the support and resistance levels. This pattern is clear, very little noise between support and resistance. The initial trend, if there is a strong initial trend before the pattern formation, this is a weak initial trend. Volume is not applicable in FX, so I'm going to leave that out for now. Then we have uniformity. Uniformity is how uniform are the touching points. So you can see in this visual example, the touching points between support and resistance are very uniform and equally spaced. The touching points in this example are not very uniform. And breakout, this is one of the most important indicators of the quality of a pattern, is how strong was the candle that broke through support resistance. So in this visual example, you can see the pattern just touched the support resistance level, not very strong. Here, there was a strong breakout. And this is, would obviously have a good breakout strength indicator. And the overall quality is just, the arithmetic average of all the above indicators. Another interesting point to note over here on the screen is that you actually have a list of all the patterns that Autochartist identifies. So if you click on New Search or Edit Pattern Search, you can actually get a list of all the patterns that Autochartist identifies, if you're interested in that. I hope that was literally a 1 minute explanation, but I hope it's relatively clear, or at least I've given you the information on where to get it.
Okay. So we've got a question here from Andrew wanting to know if we're going to be organizing future events, webinar events, to maybe go into a bit more depth, which I'm sure we will do. Errol is busy working on that. And yeah, I don't see other questions unless people still want to ask.
Okay. I see there's one that just came through about preferred brokers. Man, we are broker agnostic. We don't recommend brokers. Broker decision is up to you. You need to make sure your broker is large enough to pay you money when you want it. The spreads are competitive. It's located in your part of the world. They speak your language. They offer you the right tools, the right support. There's a lot of different reasons to choose certain brokers over others. We certainly don't support any specific brokers or promote any specific brokers. It's completely your decision. We are broker agnostic. Of course, this webinar we will record this webinar. Yvette has been recording this webinar. It will be published, I guess, on our website by tomorrow, Yvette.
Yes, and we will be sending out an email with a link.
A follow-up session. Yes, okay, good. Oh yes, I see here. Ronnie was asking, do you have a list of brokers that we partner with? So, Ron, if you're still looking at the screen, go to www.autochartist.com. Now, I can't go to that screen right now because I am prohibited from showing any broker logos on this webinar, because this webinar is independent of brokers. But on our website, www.autochartist.com, and I'll send you that link to everybody now. On the right-hand side, top right-hand side, there's a link that says login/broker partners. If you click on that link, you will see all the broker partners that we support at about 65, 70 plus brokers around the world, especially all the large brokers, small brokers, medium-sized brokers, a whole range of them. If you don't see your broker, send us the lead, please. Let us try and sell the brokers on the advantages of Autochartist and the advantages it holds for its customers. So go into autochartist.com and look at that login broker partners link. Again, don't forget to watch that little video I sent you guys earlier. It's a very cool video. Errol put it together the other day. And I think with that, we wrap it up. It's 45 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate it. If we didn't get to your answer to your question, I'm really sorry. It's difficult when you have such a big room. Please send us an email to support@autochartist.com. and we'll try and answer it there. Otherwise, maybe we'll get to your question at the next webinar, and look out for that. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.